Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a water bottle garden for your window for about $6 in supplies. First, what we have here, I got 6 water bottles from the dollar store for $1. Emptied out the water into a container so we can still drink the water later. And then use my bottles for the garden. They're hooked to a 8-foot stick of lumber that I got from Lowe's for 75 cents. The bottles are attached to the wood with some nylon wire ties. Get a bag of those at Lowe's for a couple dollars. And the bottles drain into each other with 1/4-inch tubing. You get a whole roll of that at Lowe's or Home Depot for a couple dollars, 50-foot roll. And then it all drains into a little Rubbermaid container that I got at the dollar store for $1. Now, some other things that I've used is these are beans right here, and they are 6 days old. I planted the seeds last Sunday. Today is Saturday, and this here is already about 1 foot long, so they're all doing pretty good. I got a total of 5 bottles and then one on top as my fill bottle that I dump my water and nutrients in. Then they all drain down into each other and drain into the reservoir. I don't have a pump hooked up. I just use a cup a couple times a day and dump some more water into the top bottle and let it trickle down into the bottom. When I started my seeds, I got a whole bag of seeds on eBay for $1. It's about 100 seeds. When I started my seeds, I start them in a little peat pot like this, peat pellet, and when you add warm water to it, it expands into this right here. Then you just put your seed in the center, and a couple of days later they'll sprout. Once they sprout, then you can transfer them into something bigger like these water bottles, and they'll be fine. Now, the first time you water your seeds in your peat pellets, I like to use this tea. You can get this whole box of it at Walmart for about $2. You just make 1 tea bag into 2 cups of water, let it cool down a little bit, and then dump it over your peat pellets, let them expand. There's a lot of nutrients natural nutrients in there that your seeds like, and it's also a natural antifungal, so you don't get mold growing on top of your peat pellets. Another thing I use in this setup is this Hydroton. They're just clay balls. I couldn't find any place locally that sold these, so I had to get those off eBay. Bought a whole box of it. It only takes probably about half a handful per each bottle to use in there. So a whole box of it goes a long ways if you buy it off eBay. Then for my nutrients, I'm using the General Hydroponics 3-part set, Micro, Fluoro, Grow, and the Bloom. Cheapest place to get that is off Amazon, and goes a long ways. When you mix it up, it's only a teaspoon of nutrients per gallon of water. So it's going to last you quite a while. Okay. Now, when I built this is my top water bottle here. I used a soldering iron to make my holes in the water bottles. Instead of trying to drill it or cut it, I just melted what I needed with a hot soldering iron. So I melted out the bottom of that bottle, which is my fill bottle, and melted out the bottom of the bottle underneath it, and then it just slides right in there with the cap still on it. In every cap I drilled a 3/16 hole, and then I'm using 1/4-inch tubing to trickle it down into the next bottle. And then you can see the hydroton that my plant is planted in there. Nylon tie strap just holds the bottle to the piece of wood. Going down at my next one, and so forth, all the way down. Once again, these plants are only 6 days old, so they're looking really healthy. Okay. Then we get down to the bottom, and this one just trickles down into the reservoir. Now I have my stick actually sitting in the reservoir. That's because I was afraid that I would get some moisture dripping off that bottom bottle, and I didn't want it to drip onto the carpet, so I wanted it to drip into the reservoir in case it did drip, but I haven't had any problems with that. What I did, I took duct tape, I wrapped it around the end of that stick since I knew it was going to be standing in water, and I just didn't want it to swell up and start rotting. So that duct tape should keep the water out of there. So I already got my nutrients mixed up in here. It's about a half a gallon of liquid. So I used a half a teaspoon of each of my nutrients to mix that up. So now we'll dump a cup of water in the top here, and we'll see how it trickles down. I like to stick a funnel in here just so I don't spill water on my carpet here. Alright, you need to get a little bit creative to try to control your water flow. You just want this to trickle out of your top bottle and down into the next one. And it takes about 10 minutes for this bottle to empty all the way down back into the reservoir. And what I found worked for me was I have 1/4-inch tubing running out of that bottle. And I just took a regular screw and forced it into the end of that tubing, and enough water leaked around the sides of that screw that it was just a drip coming out of the end of that 1/4-inch tubing, and it was just about the right flow that I need to make this work right. So these should work pretty good. This is a window that faces the morning sun. It's on the east side of my house. So it gets direct sunlight from about 7 in the morning till about 1 p.m., which should be pretty good for these plants here. So there you go. This whole setup takes about less than 1 square foot, and I could have even went higher. I bought a 6-pack of bottled water at the dollar store, and I just used what I had. But I probably could have went 1 or 2 bottles higher and had 2 more plants sitting here. But anyhow, there you go. You got a bottle window garden for approximately $6.